What's up, everyone? Welcome to the What's Your Five podcast, episode 25. 25. And my lighting just
25.
My name is Rodell, and joining me this week is my good friend and gaming co-host, Mr. Joel Ferrer. How are you doing, sir?
Good, Rodell. How you doing, man?
I'm good. And joining us this week is a special guest, which you guys know what that means. You can reach him at A Colbert HD on Twitch. Mr. Alex Colbert, how are you doing, sir?
Thank you so much. Very excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm excited
for
you to be here
with you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Tonight's recording is going to be top 5 Square Enix games that are not Final Fantasy. So thank God I will not have to hear about Joel's Final Fantasy VII rants or remake rants for the matter. Maybe a little bit, but not so much.
Nah, not our tactics.
Or
Just let it in
tactics.
there. Or tactics.
Or tactics, or what else is there?
Or how
you don't
8 isn't terrible.
Yeah, how 8 isn't terrible by me, or Final Fantasy 6 is the best one of them all, type of situation.
Oh man, I'll have to come back for another Final Fantasy day, and we'll have a powwow about that.
We'll grab our other our other host, Megan. We'll have a huge powwow about that. That'll be pretty fun.
Okay.
But before we get into our list, I do want to go ahead and make sure that you guys know that we're still doing our YouTube subscriber count. We do want to hit the 150 sub goal for YouTube subscribers. So please hit the subscribe button, hit the like on this video, send a comment down our way. Once we get that 150, we're going to go ahead and do a random console giveaway, which is pretty slick. So, Xbox, PS5, Switch, multiple Switches, who knows?
Okay.
So be on the lookout for that. Also be on the lookout on our social media channels on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at What's Your _5, as we will be announcing our live stream of this podcast pretty soon because I am building a new PC. So you can see there's a little PC in the back there. That's going to be the streaming PC, but my new PC will be better than ever, and we'll be actually live streaming the actual podcast. So I'm pretty excited about that.
You see, it's in all our 4K goodness. Well,
exactly. So
those of us that have 4K cameras, I don't. So I
got a little sheet, throw it out, Logitech up.
There you go.
I'm not a rich man.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that. If you guys have any topic suggestions or if you guys want to be on the show, please reach out to us at topics@whatsyour5.com. And lastly, if you guys want to see any previous lists, go ahead and go to our website at whatsyour5.com. With that all out of the way, the first thing I do want to mention that tonight we are recording on the day that the Nintendo Direct came out. I was talking to Alex about this before we started recording, and he wanted to talk about it a little bit. And I have a couple of notes. I think I asked you, Joel, too, if you can skim through it, or I don't know if you watched it all the way.
I scrubbed it, which I think is I got the gist.
Okay, cool. So I wanted to ask, what was your thoughts there? Well, for both of you, like, who wants to start? Because I
Go ahead, Alex.
have a couple things.
Go ahead, man.
I think my initial comment would be COVID showed its face. The effect of COVID was very real in the Direct today.
Okay.
A lot of I feel like it was a 50-minute Direct.
Yep.
The first half or first 30 minutes definitely was very focused on third-party games, Apex,
Yep.
Fall Guys, a couple remasters of some old PlayStation games, Saga Frontier,
Yep.
which is cool.
Yep.
But the last Direct that he did, the last full Direct, because in 2020 they did a lot of mini Directs.
Yes.
Last full Direct was September of 2019.
Wow.
Yeah, so 517 days, I think I read some post it's been. So I think a lot of people collectively thought, okay, this is the 35-year anniversary of Zelda.
Yep.
We haven't seen Breath of the Wild 2 in, a year and a half since the reveal. This is the prime opportunity to come back with the 50-minute Direct, and then just even like a what do you call it, like a title screen,
a teaser, and then
the teaser, 5 seconds, just like so Link. And we got Skyward the Skyward Sword remaster, which is cool, but
I gotta say, dude, the Skyward Sword, I'm a little excited for that because I've always wanted to play it, and I have a Wii U in the back, but I just don't want to boot it up to play that game and do the whole motion control thing. So I'm kind of glad about that. But I think you bring up some really good points, but the one point I do want to bring out before you continue is I forgot how bad the voice acting was for Xenosaga or not Xenosaga, Xenoblade.
Oh my God.
Series, the English voice acting is probably the worst ever.
Is atrocious. Yes.
Oh, it was just
Yeah.
it's super cringe, like super duper cringe. It was just like
Yeah, when they were revealing the Smash characters and they were speaking, I was like, I would probably put this up there like, top 5 worst anime dubs that you just randomly see on Netflix on like a Sunday. Like, what? These guys get paid to talk like this? Let me do it. I'll probably do a better job.
Yeah.
This was like back in the day when you would watch like a bootleg anime and the subs weren't even tied in with the dubs. And it's like, who did these dubs? Like, yeah, you just call your nephew to, hey, can you read these lines real quick, and we'll throw it in the game.
And hold on, let me add some accent to that, so that way we have some type of flair,
authenticity,
some ethnicities, to there. I'm like, this is absolute garbage. And what was also garbage was like Dragon Quest had the same voice actor issue, but they had Japanese voices added after the fact when they re-released it, and I was like, oh, thank God. So I'm sorry, continue.
I think that was basically it. I think if you Splatoon 3. I will say that's very cool. That was actually very unexpected. I think it's interesting that Splatoon 2 was announced around the same time that Mario Kart 9 came out, and we still haven't even heard. Mario Kart 8.
Yeah,
and we still have no idea when Mario Kart 9 might come out. I mean,
you're absolutely right. 100%.
I mean, but I know Splatoon is probably Nintendo's one of their most recent new IPs.
Yep.
That has been doing very well, very successful for them. So that's great. And I know they have a huge fan base. I think Joel. Yeah, I know you're into Splatoon, right?
We played the original. We played quite a bit actually.
Yeah. So that's cool. But I want it Zelda. Give it to me.
I think the biggest problem, well, for me, one of the biggest problems was ending it with Splatoon 3. Like, yeah, okay, great.
Exactly, right.
I think if they would have switched it around a little bit, it would have been a little bit more hype as far as the Skyward Sword release, even though it's not too hype, but at the same time, one thing I did appreciate was the fact that they said, hey, look, we don't have any updates for Breath of the Wild 2, which is okay. So long as you tell me that development's going, okay, that's fine. I'll give you that. But if you didn't say anything, then I'd be pissed. And I'd be like, what the?
I don't know. I feel like so I actually like Skyward Sword. I played the original.
Yeah.
It was. I said that word already, but it was original, right? It was different from most Zelda games, which was kind of cool. Like the premise of the village you start at is in the sky, whatever.
Yeah.
I would have been satisfied because again I scrubbed it with like a Breath of the Wild 2, a nice Hya in there. Coming 2022.
Yep.
Perfect. I'd be okay, cool. I mean, that would have satisfied my itch. But you guys know me. What my highlight was the Octopath Tactics Ogre project.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. What was it called? The tentative title? I think it's Project Trinity.
Triangle. I think it's Project Triangle.
What is that?
If you, I don't know if Tactics Ogre is actually like the spiritual successor to FF Tactics. It looks like they're doing a Octopath style Tactics Ogre, so I'm pretty excited about that. They don't, tactical RPGs aren't really that popular, so nice to see Square working on one.
Yeah, no, it's true. I'm kind of glad that Fall Guys is coming to Switch, because that's like a perfect Switch game. Very pick up and play, like just it's gonna be terrible on Wi-Fi, but whatever.
That's okay.
Yeah. So before we get into our lists, and I'm not sure if Alex knows about this, but you know that if you are a guest on my show or on our show, your first timer, you are subjected to our Rapid 5 questionnaire. So,
oh no. Putting me on the gun.
I'm going to put you under the gun here. So,
okay.
be it that this is recorded after Valentine's Day weekend. So this is kind of we were supposed to record this past weekend, but obviously Valentine's Day weekend. But because it's Valentine's, after weekend, I'm still going to put it in that theme. So this is going to be a Rapid 5 Valentine's edition for Alex. So if you don't know, we're going to give him a set of 5 questions, going to try to answer them as much, as fast as you can, or not fast as you can, but, kind of word association, like, water bottle, or like, like Excel spreadsheet, whatever. Okay. So if you,
so not necessarily gaming related.
It can or cannot be. So we've definitely had some interesting questions over the course of these
Interesting answers, definitely.
interesting answers too. To say the least. So, Mr. Colbert,
Yep.
are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Question number 1: best video game waifu.
Chun-Li.
Best. Question number 2: best anime waifu.
I'm having this whole. You gotta skip. I'm having a mind block. All right.
We'll go back to
It's
back
Family
to
Feud. Family Feud. We'll go back to it.
We'll go back to
Okay,
it.
okay,
All right. Okay. Question number 3: best real life actress waifu.
Charlize Theron.
Ooh, good pick.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick. Question number 4: worst waifu in any category.
Chi-Chi. Dragon Ball Z.
Ah, all right. Good answer.
He was always on Goku's ass.
Oh,
Let the
yeah, man.
train.
He's just trying to save the earth, man. That's all he's trying
Yeah,
to
let
do.
the man train.
Yeah, let the
She's
man
fertile.
train.
I mean, I'll just say that though. She's fertile. Like he's there for like a day, and they have another kid. But
Yeah,
That's true. It's the same. It's the same blood, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you. All right. Question number 5, and we'll go back to question number 2. Question number 5 is non-waifu related, but what song do you think is the best song to close out the deal with your lady? Meaning you're about to get it on. What's the song?
I mean, can it be the artist? I mean, or the soundtrack? I mean, Barry White for sure, man. Right?
Oh, okay. All right.
Right?
Right. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
I was thinking, terrible music. I was thinking like Jodeci, some Boys to Men, but I'll take
I mean, that also works. That's in the same category, man. Those are all. If you play those, that's all. All of those are a lock.
all those
the,
are locked.
the playlist. The playlist.
That's
The
right.
playlist.
The playlist. Yeah, the Barry White playlist on Spotify. Shout out to Spotify.
That's right.
All right, and let's go back to question number 2: best anime waifu. Who you got?
Sakura from Naruto.
Say what?
Sakura from Naruto.
Sakura for Naruto. Unfortunately, I've never watched Naruto because it's beyond my anime watching series.
Oh man.
I know. I'm
One day.
One day. I know.
You're in the minority, Alex. I haven't watched it either. So.
Oh, really? Oh man, you guys are killing me here.
No, we're not killing you, man. It's all right. Anyway, thank you very much for participating for the Rapid 5 segment. Let us go on and let's go ahead and explain our listing for this episode. So we're doing top 5 Square Enix games, non-Final Fantasy. So my ask of these two gentlemen were to find their 5 best games in the Square Enix family that are non-Final Fantasy related. After that, it's pretty much up to them as far as what their criteria was. So I'll ask Joel first. What was your criteria going into this list?
So I learned something doing the research for this show. I misspoke in a previous pod. There is a difference between a publisher and a developer. Who would have thought, right?
Right.
So previously, I was like, and when we had an episode with Megan, I said, Square Enix made the new Tomb Raider. Incorrect. They published it. So they did all the advertising, they did the promo material, but they did not develop it. So obviously my first criteria is developed by Square Enix or Squaresoft. Hint, hint.
Yep.
And then the usual rules, I have to have beat the game. So there are many games that I know many people are saying, no brainer, this should be on the list that I just didn't beat, so they don't get to be on the list. And then I am omitting my usual rule of 1 game per series because our list is a little narrow.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
I may or may not have multiple games from the same series. That's it.
Okay. Alex, do you have any criteria going into this?
I do, yeah. I would say the list of 5. So first of all, when you brought this challenge to me originally, I thought, Square Enix, they make a crap ton of games that aren't Final Fantasy. This should be very easy for me to pick 5 that I played. But then when I went through the list, I was like, oh crap, I only play Final Fantasy games. So I was like, wow, this is actually kind of a challenging list to make. So I was able to do 5.
Mhm.
One of them is kind of like an asterisk, but I'll explain it once I guess when I go through my list.
Sure.
But the four I have played, I have beaten,
Okay.
and they kind of all of them kind of have like I guess you say like a significance
Good. Awesome.
to me.
So,
They have like a personal thing for me. Yeah.
very good. So again, just so you guys know, we're gonna do this one by one. So we'll just go back and forth. So this is gonna be one, then one, then one, then one. Just wanted to kind of give that to Alex as we move forward. So let's start it off with Joel. What is your number 5 in your top 5 Square Enix list that are non-Final Fantasy?
So number 5 for me was actually one of the newer games on my list. It was a 3DS game. It's and it's good timing because there's one coming out for the Switch very soon. It's Bravely Default, the very first one.
Ah.
So this game, I always love when Square makes new IPs because they don't do it too often.
Yeah.
It's almost always a continuation of an old series and relatively in the same universe, if not using the same kind of similar key parts, like the Ivalice lines, for instance. But Bravely Default is new, right? Bravely Default was like new IP, new characters, new world.
Yep.
And it was awesome. I think it was a little bit of a throwback in terms of the style, the music, the story. The plot was fairly generic, but what I loved about it was the battle system in terms of like saving your turns and the job system. You know, Riddle, I'm a sucker for job systems. It's one of my favorite aspects of RPGs. And Bravely Default lets you. It's I knew I would slip it in here. It's very tactics-esque, where you have your main job, but you can choose abilities from a secondary job. So you can have your battle mage, you can have a paladin, you can have a thief who summons, whatever you want to do, right?
Yeah.
And that's Bravely Default. It kicked off a great series. I did play the second game, and I'm excited to see the Switch version.
Yep.
I don't think it gets much love because I don't think, even though the 3DS is freaking one of the most popular consoles of the past 20 years.
Yep.
I think the people limited it to Pokemon games and
wasn't Bravely Default like a huge grind fest? Like huge.
So, since we are a spoiler-filled pod here, there is a point in the game that there is a reason why it's number 5, not higher, where they do the old let's get some more gameplay out of this game, the old Castlevania, which was good when Symphony of the Night did it, but not good when people rehash it. You get to the point where you think you beat the game, and then all the bosses from the other towns come back and you have to play them again.
What?
And I did do it because obviously I wanted to finish the game, but I was like, all right, you guys want a few more hours of gameplay. All right.
You know what game did that to me? And I know we said we weren't going to mention these type of games, but I'm just going to say it because I really, really was pissed off that it happened to me. Was World of Final Fantasy. That when I beat the game,
man.
When I beat the game, and then all of a sudden they're like, "No, that's not the right ending. You need to do this and get all these things all over again." And with this girl in the room, I'm like, "Man, fuck that, dude! I'm done with this stupid game. When you're damn,
they're trying to keep you in the ecosystem, man.
No,
squeezing out the hours, man.
Dude, they were totally just like milking that thing like nobody's business. It was absolutely garbage. Did you play Bravely Default?
I think I only played the demo. I never got around to getting into it yet. I know it's like super popular.
It was super hard to find the physical copy. So
really?
For those of you who are into game backups, maybe that's the best way to play it.
Collectors,
indeed. All right, so good. Bravely Default, number 5 for Joel. Mr. Colbert, what is your number 5 for this topic?
So for me, it's okay for me to use Squaresoft, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because I was thinking because I was going through a list. I was like, oh man, there's also Squaresoft. I hope he's not going to give me like a technicality because it's not.
I would say you can even go Enix if you want, Alex. I
could go Enix. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay.
Totally do that.
So yeah. Yeah. For me, my number 5, if you remember the Bouncer from PS2.
Yes, sir. One of the launch titles. Absolute garbage, but yes, I remember that game.
I was gonna say I actually wrote a dishonorable list. But go ahead, Alex.
That's on the list.
So explain to us why this made the list of top 5s.
So one of the reasons why it's on my list is because of how bad it was.
Okay.
So my top 5 is not necessarily. Oh, that's actually the only one on my 5 list that's actually bad. Okay. But I thought it was like an honorable mention.
Sure.
So the game, was extremely hyped up.
Yep.
Before the PS2 launched.
Yep.
This was Square, I guess Squaresoft at the time. This was
Yep.
their first big game on the PS2.
Yep.
Had a ton of hype. The graphics at the time were actually really, really good.
Oh yeah.
But unfortunately, the story fell very flat. I don't remember the story 100% completely, but I know the game, it was kind of different in the sense that they were trying to go for a kind of like an action adventure, but that was played out as if you were like in the scene of like a movie.
Yeah.
And it was a critical failure.
Absolutely.
It was a massive critical failure. They lost a lot of money on it, and they never returned back to it. A lot of the IPs that Square Enix has done or Squaresoft has done over the last decade or two, they would a lot of them they have at least returned to give them either put it on Steam or put it on Switch or whatever mobile, right? Even mobile, right?
Yeah.
Bouncer. No, you were in the trash bin for the rest of eternity. You were never getting another shot.
No, you were never getting the light of day. And I'm still, Square, if you guys are listening, I'm looking for that Ergeist remake, just so you guys know.
The other game on my dishonorable list, by the way.
I was gonna put that on the list too. I was like, nah, Bouncer's more crappy.
So Joel, did you pick this up as a young buckling when you had your PS2?
So thankfully, I did not spend money on it. I did borrow it from someone who sadly did buy it. Ergeist those were my two games, by the way, if we were going to do dishonorables. Graphics were excellent.
Yes.
And we'll leave it at that. The rest of it was very poor. To me, that was the original Square Enix recently released Avengers, and it was dog-turd. And that was the 2000-ish version of Avengers.
Wow. Yeah.
A lot of hype, like Alex said. They put a lot of money into promo. Just like Avengers was all over Comic-Con, if you guys remember.
Yeah, I did.
Put a lot of money into hype, and sadly, much less into development. It seems like. So
if I could tack onto that was Avengers is actually my fifth game that I was mentioning. That would be like my asterisk. So I guess I'll add on my thoughts onto his comment. I guess when
I like it. This is definitely a good turn into our podcast. This is actually the first time I actually had a guest that used it wasn't like a best of or like a if you're stuck in an island type of situation. I like that a lot. Great. So with that out of the way, number 4, Joel, what do you have?
Number 4. So Riddell knows my heyday is PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2. That's like my my wheelhouse. So number 4 for me is also a Squaresoft game released on the PlayStation. It's the quote unquote successor to a very popular game. It's going to be Chrono Cross.
Yes.
So Chrono Cross for me, funny enough, my sister bought it when I bought FF9, so we had to share the PlayStation. So I didn't play it for a while because FF9, come on, guys. But it's sad that it kind of fell under the shadow of FF9, right? So that no one really played it.
Yeah.
It had the Chrono name. Some people kind of like, oh, sweet, a Chrono Trigger sequel, which it was not.
Yeah.
If you look past that, it's a very, very solid JRPG. I think the soundtrack ranks high on the PlayStation, not even just PlayStation, on the JRPG soundtrack list. The characters, it was Suikoden style where there was like 40 characters, maybe more than that. Yeah. So they weren't very memorable after Surge and Kid, which were the two kind of main characters.
Yeah.
But the gameplay was pretty unique. It was like two like low, medium, high attack, different percentages, and as you chain them, you get more ability to use magic.
Yeah.
So it was actually really unique and really cool. The story was good. It was good, and at the end, if you got the correct ending, as all Chrono games have a correct ending,
of course,
you do get throwbacks to how Chrono Trigger was part of the game. Spoiler: Luca was the orphanage holder of some of the characters from Chrono Cross.
Wait, what? I was gonna play it this weekend.
Yeah, what the hell? Thanks a lot,
Joel. The game.
Spoiler full recording. Come on, guys. Spoiler full pod. So
we'll cut that out, right?
That's an editing. Thanks, Anthony.
Chrono Cross, great game. I played FF9 first. But I ended up playing it. Awesome game, awesome soundtrack. Well worth a PSN buy if you ever have time to spend, or a backup.
So let me ask you this, Joel. In the back of the day, with your sister playing FF, did you and your sister both play FF9 at the same time, like with different save files, or did you play behind over her shoulder, or like how did that work?
No, it was a timeshare, man. Like she was playing Chrono Cross because that's what the game she bought for Christmas, and I bought FF9.
Oh, so it was the other way around. I thought
played for an hour, and then I would wait for my turn, and then she would wait for her turn. And thinking back, I was actually a not very smart kid because she'd be like, "Oh, can I play for another half an hour?" And you can let's say she's supposed to stop at 9.
Yeah.
She'll play till 9:30. So, you can play till 10:30. Like, oh, that sounds fair. Like, no, it's not fair. She got an hour and a half. You're still only getting an hour. Come on, man. Do your math. So
you can bring that up next Thanksgiving.
I got cheated.
That's big sister. That's big sister privilege right there. Thanks a lot, Melissa. Did you play Chrono Cross, Alex?
I didn't. I played the original, but I didn't play Chrono Cross.
I mean, if you didn't play the original,
yeah, I think Chrono Cross kind of suffered a lot of, I guess, what would you say, the Big Brother kind of syndrome, where you had the original that's just like monstrous, legendary.
Yes.
And you compare it to say for example, and like at least in the U.S., originally Final Fantasy 7. Right. Well, Final Fantasy 8 came out, Final Fantasy 9 came out. Eclipse. As far as like whether or not you agree to disagree whether or not 8 or 9 are an actual better game compared to 7, I don't think anyone can really say that 8 or 9 from like a cultural cult following standpoint that 7 is gargantuan.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what it. So if you guys know, like at that time in the late 90s, Square was like, it was almost like a sweatshop, right? They were like, we need to get these things out and making so much money. So it's like, why, to me, in my opinion, so I don't mind developing 2 games at once, because they actually did that quite a few times. But why release them at the same time? I would think you would stagger it and make more money. But
this was back in the 90s, though. This was like late 90s.
Definitely back then.
Yeah, it was definitely back then. Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how if things were to be now, and like they would do those somewhat simultaneous releases? Like that's insane. Like that would be dumb on their part to not make money. Plain and simple.
It would be a 1-year exclusive on PlayStation, and then it would go on Xbox or something.
Right.
Exactly.
Like that.
All right. Number 4, Alex. What do you have, sir?
Number 4 for me would be Xenogears.
Ah, very good game.
So
indeed.
yeah, so Xenogears for me kind of holds a special place in my heart because it was the first game for me that was multi-disc on PlayStation. Yes. It was 2 discs.
Yep.
So for me as a kid, getting 2 CDs in a case, I was like, oh my God, I have 2 games. This is freaking amazing. Come to find out, it's the same game.
Yeah.
Long.
I was gonna say, can we really say it's 2 disc? But sorry, go ahead, Alex.
yeah. Same thing with Final Fantasy 7. I got that too. I was like, oh my God, this has 3 discs. This is freaking amazing. But yeah. So for me, that was the story in that game was excellent. I thought. Mm-hmm. Have you guys played Xenogears?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So for me, like the story I felt was excellent. And then growing older, I kind of learned more about the cult following that the game developed, and that the game actually was almost not localized inside of the US because of the religious aspect of the game.
Yes.
So that was actually very interesting to learn, as I got older. But I thought that was, I wouldn't say that would probably be one of the first couple of RPGs that I played on the original PlayStation, and it was excellent. I wish they would have remade it. They still have yet to remake it. I know they came out with Xenosaga, but I felt Xenosaga was not great. And I felt like, honestly, I felt like it kind of strayed away from the dark story, because Xenogears was I felt it was very dark.
Oh yeah.
I felt like Xenosaga was not nearly as dark as I guess you would have wanted from the original. Yeah.
No, totally. And I think that it was really insane how you mentioned the 2 disc thing. I remember popping in the second disc and again, as I said, a kid, maybe my early teenage years, I was playing it. And it was just a huge FMV movie, like the whole time. Mm-hmm. And you're just when can I play? And then afterwards, it's like, there's only 5 hours left in the game. I was like, when can I play with my cool robots and whatnot? Yeah. So, very good choice. Joel, now did you also purchase Xenogears as well, or did you play that after?
But that was a borrowed game. I borrowed it from a cousin.
Gotcha.
It was also I think the demo came with FF8. If I remember. I don't know. It
Yep.
came with FF8.
Something. Yeah, I think it's again one of those. Yeah.
So yeah, I played the demo, but being a little kid, I couldn't afford that many games. But I did borrow from a cousin, and when I got to beat it. What I remember most is that obviously the mech aspect is super cool.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
The battle system, I never played a battle system like that.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing I can even say close. It's like if you guys remember doing like limit breaks with Zell.
Yeah,
that's the battle system all the time.
Yeah,
and it's freaking cool. For me, and a spoiler, it's on my honorable mentions list, and it's just because of that second disc. It's unforgivable for me.
I don't know if it's unforgivable. They ran out of money. They ran out of
it's
money.
literally unfinished.
You're making like they released like 10 games in the PlayStation era and PlayStation generation, and they ran out of money.
I guess. I don't know. It was really
like
good.
You said, man. They were working that Switch shop hard, man. They had to cut corners.
It was a money grab, in my opinion. Money.
Indeed.
But it would be like 7 or 6 on my list if I were to 10.
Yeah, I would totally put that up there. It was one of my favorites growing up for sure. That battle system alone was just like absolutely like mind blowing. Like how does that thing work?
Like thinking about it, I never played the other Xeno games to be fair, but I don't even. There's not another JRPG that I played that has
that type of like press button and do combos and all. There was something. What was it? Oh gosh. Legend of Legaia. Oh no, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, Legend of Legaia or Legaia Dual Saga. That was definitely very similar, and very very good. Very good combat system overall.
To Alex's other point, I just want to touch on that with how they changed kind of tones with Xenosaga. I do think Square became less risky after PlayStation. It was more of like, what could appeal to more mass audience and make more money?
Mainstream,
because they were super dark. The game 3 that I had was like a darker game, but they kind of went away from that. Probably with thoughts of making more money.
So let's segue into that, Joel. What do you have for your number 3?
So game 3 is we're sticking in the PlayStation era, guys,
because that's when the best games are out.
When they were the best.
Yeah, apparently, yeah.
I don't care what you say, man. Like these people don't know, dude. Like all your Apex Legenders and your Fortnites and all your other Mass Effects
with
all these
guns and
stuff.
stuff.
Good. Mass Effect's good.
You guys don't know about them PlayStation era, man, and all those wonderful load screens and all that good stuff. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
No, you're good. Joel,
you're good. Number three. What do you have?
Number 3 for me was like I said, another Squaresoft game from PlayStation. It was Parasite Eve.
So
this game
about putting that on the list.
This game, part of the reason why I liked it because it was dark, and this is the I think we've talked about this before, Alex, on the side, but obviously this is your first time on the pod. I can't do scary games. I love plots and I love the stories, but I can't do it. But this game, because it's an RPG, kind of fulfills that itch of like, it's a horror story. It's totally a horror story, but it's still like turn-based. It's actually turn-based / action RPG because you can move and dodge attacks.
Yeah.
But the story is really good. Like the story is literally, they should make movies. I don't know. I think maybe it was a rumor that they would, but they should. The story it was based off a book. It was based off a book, I think.
Oh.
But the story is excellent. And there's some FMVs, man, where it's like fairly in the beginning of the game, a rat turns into like a thing the size of a dog, but it doesn't stretch. It like grows out of its skin and the bones stretch.
Yeah.
It's gnarly. It's straight up Resident Evil, right? So this is like Squaresoft Resident Evil with turn-based.
But this is like PS1 blocky textures, so it like probably looked like even more grotesque than like it actually should.
It was. So it wasn't FF7 graphics. It was more FF8 graphics, but I think it came out around 98, 99. There's gun customization, so there's some more gameplay there. But the story was just really good. The OST was good, and Square doesn't make horror games anymore, which is disappointing.
Yeah,
not like that.
Not like that.
They did have a sequel. I can't remember what it was called.
There's 2 more. There's Parasite Eve 2 and then Third Birthday. So there was actually 3 total.
I did not even know that Third Birthday existed.
I sadly haven't played the third one. It's on my Vita. I'll get to it. It's on my backlog.
Mhm.
So wait, the other no, that was Clock Tower. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was finished.
I'm just saying it. No, because I was thinking like Square doesn't do any horror games anymore, and I was thinking like, what about Clock Tower? And like, no, Clock Tower is Capcom, I think.
Yeah, it's not Square.
Yeah. So, did you? No, I have to ask, Alex. Did you play Parasite Eve?
I did play a little bit of it. I didn't finish it, but that's so I'm literally I agree with Joel. I like playing story games. I'm sorry, I like playing horror games for the story. But
Yeah.
I am a wussy, man. I can't do
They
it.
always have
I
great
cannot do
stories.
it. Yeah, I got I got the last horror game that I tried to play. I got Resident Evil 7.
Okay.
On PC. I was like, you know what? I'm going to set the ambiance. I'm going to turn the lights out.
Oh no,
Put
you
on the
did.
headphones.
Opposite, Alex. Opposite.
Yeah, right next to me, I'm like, you know, I'm gonna put myself. I'm gonna fully immerse myself. I swear to God, 5 minutes. I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get a refund. Why the hell did I even buy this game? I
Oh
can't do
my
this.
god, that's terrible.
Do yourself a favor, Alex, and
Yeah.
YouTube the story because it's very good of Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, I
did
did.
it.
I had to do it. I couldn't do it.
It's good.
So-
It's like an hour, but it's really good. The story
I
is
was,
really good.
we talked about this a couple of pods ago with Megan, and we were talking about how it's like you gotta turn the lights up, you gotta have your friend over, you
Brightness
gotta-
up.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah,
No headphones, zero headphones. Just have it.
Even no volume if you want to do that.
Yeah,
That's
that's
fine
fine,
too.
Do you are you enamored by the huge vampire lady in Resident Evil 8 that's coming out?
I heard about this craziness that people are like going crazy over this character.
Yeah.
I've seen the character, but you know, I mean, you know, of course, you know, internet is going to have their
Oh, they're gonna have their
or
fun,
whatever.
man.
So yeah, they're going to have fun. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I am
just fun.
interested in playing that game. I did play the demo on PS5, which
Okay.
is pretty fun.
Yeah.
But like I said, no headphones. I had the brightness all the way up in the living room. Like some of my
Sound
TV's over
down.
there. I was standing right here watching. Like okay, just in case you're not going to come to the TV, you're not going to get me.
You're not gonna get me this time. No, you're not.
Did you guys? So random topic. Did you guys play that demo of that like super scary game where you're like in a house in the hallway? They never finished it. They never actually finished the game.
Oh, PT.
Yeah.
That was the
Yeah,
one.
that was
the Silent Hill one, right?
yeah, that was supposed to be Silent Hill. Yeah,
Yeah. Mm-mm.
I never
No.
played the demo.
YouTube. That's all I did.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, man. Like that's like, oh man, this new scary game is out, man. PT. Oh man, like it might be like a teaser for Silent Hill. That's okay. I'll pass. I won't even need this. I won't even use the space on my PS4. It's okay.
I gotta ask. No, I gotta call you out though a little bit, Alex, because I've seen your streams every once in a while. You do Phasmophobia. That's a scary game, right?
That is true. You caught me. You caught me.
I caught you.
See the thing about so Phasmophobia is only scary the first maybe like hour or two.
Mm,
After that, the scary effect, like the suspense, it kind of goes away because it's very samey.
right.
The way that the game works, like
Mhm.
you kind of have an idea of like when the ghost is going to attack you. So the fear factor is gone after like the first couple times that you do a few rounds.
Gotcha.
Resident Evil, or like like Joel was saying, like Parasite Eve. Like if that's like just like an RPG or adventure game, like you're sitting down and it's like your first playthrough, you're just like completely blind as like what's going to happen, right? So it's like, oh my god.
Man, I can't. I mean, I guess I could do it back then. Now I probably can. I'm a big sissy now, but it just cracks me up how you guys are just like, I'll just YouTube it, I'll just Wikipedia it, I'll just find
You
a
should have saw
story.
like I was so hyped to play Amnesia. Like it looks so good. I
Oh,
played it
yeah.
for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, so the premise is you can't attack, and as the enemies get closer, you go crazier.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I think I got to like a corridor or a corner, and I was like, oh man, Alt F4, that was fun. Okay. That was it.
Fine. Let's go find it on Wiki. We'll be good.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, man, who were the type of people that develop this kind of game?
Dude,
What's wrong with you
For
people?
real, what is wrong with you, dude? I swear, you Japanese developers, man, who develop Resident Evil,
Yeah.
all these crazy
Yeah.
games. Like, come on, man. Like, what sick, twisted mind do you have? And
Yeah,
you guys are
that's
rich as
weird
hell.
fetishes, man.
All right, super tangent. Sorry. Number 3, Alex. What do you have for your number 3 game?
So my number 3 is super generic and super boring, and I'm curious to see if it's on Joel's list. But I'm just gonna throw it out there, and not individual, but the whole series.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
So I mean, because I was like, you know what? It does have Final Fantasy characters.
It does.
But technically, it is not a Final Fantasy. So
That's
I'm
right.
going to throw on the list and just see what Rodell says.
No, you're absolutely right. Yep.
But
yep.
yeah, so that would be my number 3.
Now, let me ask you why before I smash it into pieces.
I like all the characters, ironically, besides the Final Fantasy cameos. I like Sora. I think he's very cool. I like Riku. I think he's also very cool. I like the characters, but honestly, the story is. I mean, I feel like you could get your PhD you could write your PhD dissertations on the Kingdom Hearts story collectively, and you would probably still fail it. But yeah, I think just growing up with Kingdom Hearts on PS2, playing Kingdom Hearts 1 and just kind of being like sucked into that story, like the new characters that they introduced were like, very, as a young kid, like very relatable. And then like, you throw in Cloud and you throw in Sephiroth. It's like, okay, what the hell? Like this is like the perfect combination of, new RPG, action RPG, you can use your spells. And then you got Disney characters like, it's perfect, right? As a young kid, like you're getting a little bit of everything, right?
Absolutely.
And then as time went on, things have gotten different. Kingdom Hearts 3, good lord, that was a disappointment. Like I said, I like the characters.
Let me ask you this: Did you beat Kingdom Hearts 3?
Nah, I couldn't.
Okay, good. All right.
I couldn't finish it.
All right.
Even as a fan, I feel like I wasn't really playing the game. I was watching the summons the whole freaking time, man.
I know.
Like literally just like mash X, mash X, mash.
That's all it was.
Keep doing your little teacup thing or roller coaster thing or whatever, for 10 minutes. It's like, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Absolutely terrible. Yeah. So I think that I don't have to bash it any more than I have to, because you guys know from previous podcasts that I really, really hate that damn series because of part 3. Because part 1 and 2
so really,
were
so you liked it before, it tainted you.
No. And they came out, and Joel and I were talking about this the other day. He's like, Kingdom Hearts coming out on Epic Steam Store, man, or Epic Game Store, man. Are you gonna get on it? I'm like, no, I do not want to feed this giant more money to get mad all over again because you guys made this really dumb, stupid story. Like all you had to do was be like, hey, there's princesses that are kidnapped. Go save them. Save the day. That's it. That's all you had to do.
That was the original intent. So let me ask you a question then. So this is supposed to be the final chapter of the Xehanort story, right?
That's correct.
So, but Kingdom Hearts is not done. So you said that Kingdom Hearts 3 has has altered your opinion of the previous game, or I guess the series as a whole.
Absolutely, 100%.
If the assumption is that the next Kingdom Hearts is supposed to be like a reboot, whether it be Sora starting over from scratch or like new characters. I mean, do you think that could possibly like revitalize your interest in the series? Really?
No, I'm done. I'm done. Like I said,
really?
these folks have ruined this beautiful marriage, man. I mean, you even said it yourself. You said you had a great story with the great characters, which I agree on from Kingdom Hearts 1. They had great characters, and then you added Final Fantasy characters. Wow, that's awesome. Then you add these Disney characters that everybody loves, and everybody can watch it. Fantastic. Once you get that done, that's it. You have this like formula. You're about to make billions of dollars from advertising and merchandise and all that stuff, and you're gonna throw all this stupid fucking like keyblades, and I'm gonna be this keyblade master. I'm gonna do all this crazy stuff in this Xehanort something. Fuck cares, man? Like, dude, just save the princesses. That's all I want you to do. Save the princesses, and then have other cool Disney characters come in, like like Simba, or like that's all you got to do. It's that simple. It's that simple. I mean, you're given the recipe for Coke. All you got to do is drink it. That's it. You have satisfaction guaranteed. But no, you're gonna make this crazy convoluted story. So no, I refuse. I refuse.
I totally agree with everything.
Yeah. So sorry, Joel. I didn't. I mean, I'm sure you've saved yourself from not playing Kingdom Hearts 3, although you did wait in line.
Oh, you haven't played it yet, Joel?
So I picked it up at GameStop at like 9 p.m. and I took it home and I put it in to copy it to my PS4, and that was it. I took it out and I literally haven't played it since.
Great.
But funny enough, Alex, Kingdom Hearts 2 is my number 2 on my list.
Okay.
To me, this is
There we
the
go.
pinnacle
Segue.
Kingdom Hearts game.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a Kingdom Hearts 1, which I adored, but playing it on PS4 remaster, I see all the warts.
Oh yeah.
The controls are awful.
Camera's terrible.
Camera's
Mhm.
terrible. And they, obviously it was still on PS2, so they did what they did. But from my memories of not playing the remaster, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 2 is the controls are much more refined, a little cleaned up. But I liked it because it was a little more mature. Kingdom Hearts 1, the characters were like what, 11, 12 years old.
Yep.
Yeah, they were younger. Yeah.
They're firmly in their mid-teens in Kingdom Hearts 2. So it was a little more mature,
Yeah.
a little more evolved story.
Yeah.
I actually did like Roxas. I thought he was a cool character. I like what they did with Riku, kind of, anti-hero kind of thing.
Yep.
So I really enjoyed Kingdom Hearts 2. It was a game I played a lot on my PS2. I liked it a lot better than Kingdom Hearts 1. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm still waiting on the third part of the Kingdom Hearts trilogy, and perhaps this reboot will be it. I tease Radal all the time that to me, Toy Story is a trilogy. Well, to me, Kingdom Hearts is a trilogy missing the third piece. It's 1 and 2 and TBD.
Sorry, I disagree. Toy Story 4 is definitely part of this quadrilogy here.
Yeah.
I don't know if Alex has watched it, but I'm telling you, Toy Story 4.
We watched stories. I love Toy Story 4.
I'm sure it's good.
Alex.
I'm sure it's good.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
No, the ending in Toy Story 3 is perfect. This is like taking a beautiful, steak
Joel,
and then deep frying the beautiful steak and saying, nope, I'm gonna make it better. Put some flour on it and deep fry it.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you if they screwed it up. They did not screw it up.
Telling you.
Just watch it sometime. What is it, like an hour, 90 minutes?
90 minutes. 90 minutes of pure bliss and one of the best stories. I mean, Pixar did it again. If you think that Pixar did not do it, then there's something wrong.
I may watch the spinoff, one day. There's an AU. I may watch it.
Toy Universe, the TSU,
the alternate Toy Story universe. But to me,
I think Buzz Lightyear is getting a Disney Plus show, is he not? I think I heard about that.
What is he? What? Say what now?
Buzz Lightyear is supposed to be getting a Disney Plus show. Did you not? I thought I heard something about that.
He had a cartoon that was actually very decent. It was in like the Buzz Lightyear universe.
No,
and it was really good. Like there was other space rangers, different races.
No, I think I remember that. Yeah, I remember that. But yeah, I mean, anybody has a Disney Plus show nowadays. Which, by the way, have you watched WandaVision yet, Alex?
I have. We watch it every week.
Are you? I mean, I'm assuming you're agreeing with the general public, which is episode 1 and episode 2 are pretty much kind of forgettable. It's episode 3 and on that pretty much kind of makes the entire show. Yeah or nay?
I can understand that sentiment, but I actually did like episode 1 and 2. I love everything. I love the show. We both love the show.
Sure.
But I liked how wacky and how different episode 1 and 2 were. Like I would if they had a whole show just like that, I would watch that and enjoy it too, actually. Wow. But I do understand. I know a lot of people were
literally just like, what the
hell is this?
Yeah. So Joel, get on it. It's your homework.
I'm in like 3/4 of the way through episode 2.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
I'm actually not
okay.
I'm not super turned off by the premise, right? I also think it's hilarious, and I would also, assuming it wasn't like exact rehashes, I would totally watch sitcom Wanda and Vision without the extra MCU fluff that I'm sure is coming very soon.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, if you are having issues getting through the first 2 episodes, like Rodell said, like from 3 onwards, the MCU shows up, and then the formula shows up.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen the headlines, the $4 billion episode 4 or whatever. I've seen it. So.
Kevin's doing the right job. He's doing right. He's doing right overall. Yeah. So, all right, Alex, number 2. We're getting closer to number 1. But
okay,
what do you got?
So when I made my list, I didn't realize that it was in order of crappiest to best. So I apologize for that. So my last one actually is my number 1, but my number 2 would be my asterisk would be Avengers.
I gotta know.
So like I said,
why.
it is not the second best on my list. It's actually the worst on my list, but I didn't know that we were doing it.
No, you can do it wherever you want.
It's
This is your 5. That's what the show's about,
Yeah.
man. It's your 5.
Yeah.
However you want to do it, wherever you want to do it. It's cool with me.
Alex loves the drama.
Yeah.
That's
He
him.
does. You're like TNT, baby. We know drama.
Yeah. So obviously, I'm sure we're all Marvel fans, right? We thought that this was basically going to be the second coming of Jesus,
Yep.
and it basically felt flat, just like the Bouncer, ironically, which is also on my list. Yeah, I put a lot of time into the beta with some friends.
Okay.
And man, the bugs galore. The
Oh.
bugs for days. Matchmaking was awful.
Oh,
Just lots of problems, and they just announced the next gen update, I think this week or last Friday.
mhm.
And I put an asterisk because I do think that the game is salvageable. It's something that I would really love to go back to probably
Mhm.
sometime maybe this year, once they put a little bit more TLC into it.
Yeah.
Because I do love that they are taking the Avengers and they are re-envisioning them with different like the different character likeness.
Yep.
Giving them a different story.
Sure.
And then so I mean I'm hopeful that they are able to turn the ship around, because it's something that I actually would like to invest time into. I would like to invest money into it. But yeah, I mean they spent over $100 million, developing this game. And I mean, I swear to God, I think after the game came out, within like a week or two, like no one was talking about it, man. You have like one of like the biggest IPs
Yep.
in existence right now,
Yep.
and you screwed it up.
Yep.
1A, 1B
I
was
really not-
developers.
I'm telling
Yeah, as I don't know how any other way to say it. You screwed it up.
You screwed it up, man. You messed up. That's all there is to
Yeah.
it. Did you
So
did you want to play it, Joel?
I never. I'm not a huge MMO guy, so I didn't
Yeah.
really have an inkling to play. But when they first started showing previews, Comic-Con 2019, I actually defended it because people that I know who really only know Marvel from the MCU, they're like,
Mhm.
that's not Captain America. I'm like, you guys know Chris
Right.
Evans is not Captain America. He's a portrayal Captain America.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not Thor. I'm like, well, Chris Hemsworth plays him, but that's not the only rendition of Thor. There's comics you can look
Yeah.
back and see other renditions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was defending it actually, and then I think they kept releasing tech previews, and I was like, yeah, the likeness is I don't really mind the likenesses,
Right.
but besides that, like the animations don't look super clean. And again, it's an
Mhm.
MMO, right? You don't. It's different. You
Yeah.
don't have the same cleanness that you do in single player mode where it's very controlled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I never played it, but I've read about the chaos and the letdown. The people are saying just make it a Fallout where you do free and kind of cut bait.
Yeah.
But if someone who's played it says it's salvageable, then I believe them. I think
Yeah.
I was never a Fallout fan. If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Fallout Online is also kind of suffered the same thing where
Mhm.
people freaking hated it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And now it's just free to play, I think. So maybe they go that route, but if Alex says it's salvageable, I buy it.
Okay.
What they're trying to do, they're trying to do a Final Fantasy 14. They're
Oh,
trying to. I mean, and obviously, we all play Final Fantasy 14, so we're familiar with that story.
Yes.
Final Fantasy 1.0 and 14 1.0 is awful
Garbage.
and cost millions of dollars.
garbage.
You bring in Yoshida, dump the dumb, he saves the day, right?
Yep.
And then now 14 is one of the most successful MMOs in existence, right? So
I mean,
that's what they're hoping that they can do with Avengers.
I don't know if they have to, because they have obviously we talked about, they have a very close partnership with Disney, right?
Yeah.
All they have to do is release 1.x or whatever version, and you play through the movie scenes, and boom, everyone's gonna sign up.
That's true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Play through scenes from the MCU as
Mhm.
as main quests,
Yep.
main
Yeah.
dungeons or whatever, and you're gonna print money if you clean up the gameplay. Because is the gameplay good, Alex? Is like the actual gameplay good?
So yeah, I would say as long as they fix the clunkiness that are like the bugs and things like
Yeah.
that, then yeah, the combat is actually pretty enjoyable. That's probably actually the best part from the hours that I played in the beta. A lot of the issues with the game were actually like, kind of like systems issues, like, matchmaking or just like, loading into maps, falling out of maps, things like that.
Jeez.
The variety of missions, like some missions could take, 15, 20 minutes to finish. Some could take 2 minutes. So like the variety of the quality of the missions also needs to be improved upon. But yeah, I think the bones are there. The skeleton is there. It's just they need to clean up, add some more meat to it, and I think it actually could be good.
Even pick a very well-known storyline, because most people know Civil War from one movie.
Yeah.
It's a long comic book series. It's like,
Yeah,
and each character has dozens
Their own.
of issues.
Yeah.
So there's a plot line out there for you guys. Just adopt one.
Mhm.
No,
Yeah.
comic books are the new wave, man. They're a new wave of stories, man. That's it. You know,
Yeah, seriously.
infinite amount of like these like gigantic stories for sure.
Yeah.
So. All right. Before we get to number one, we usually do our honorable mentions. We've already talked about a few of them, but if you guys have any honorable mentions, starting with Alex, do you have anything that you want to mention before you hit your number one?
I don't have an honorable mention because honestly, I struggle so hard with this list, man. I swear to God, I struggle so hard with this list. I was like, oh my God, I just love Final Fantasy so much, and I can't talk about Final Fantasy.
Joel,
After our list, I'm curious, because I thought for sure there'd be like, there's two games I thought for sure Alex would have on his list. Maybe one of them is number one.
Oh, okay.
But my honorable mentions, technically not Square Enix, but it's a subsidiary of Square Enix. I Am Setsuna. So if you guys don't know, they made a company to make traditional JRPGs. So I love that game. Ooh, OST on that is
it's so good.
Fencer Musashi, another PlayStation classic.
Vagrant Story. How about that one?
Yeah, one of the first like actiony. It's not really action, it's more action, but it has RPG elements. So I love that game.
Yeah.
Vagrant Story, which was I learned recently, is one of the tactics guy who did Tactics did Vagrant Story, which makes a lot of sense because they're very similar. And then I'm
sensing a theme here. Joel loves Tactics. I'm sensing a theme here.
Dude, Tactics is. We'll do another pod. We'll talk about that. Xenogears was also one of the we talked about that already.
Yeah.
So I love PlayStation. You guys can tell I love PlayStation.
I don't know
how
do you not
bangers,
have the
man?
PlayStation
All bangers
symbols in your background, Joel?
I think it looks tacky.
No. I'm gonna buy that for you for Christmas.
You get right above Baby Yoda. You get a little spot there, man. You could like a long strip. You know,
I'm telling you, bro. See, look at Alex knows what's up, dude. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you got a little spot right there. You gotta fill up that. You gotta fill up that paint, man. Fill up the wall.
You gotta fill it up, man. Get the PlayStation symbols. I mean, you're the biggest fanboy that I know. Like so. All right. So because Joel started, I want Alex to finish or start his number one. What do you have for number one, sir?
So I assume Joel this is probably one of the two games that Joel thinks I would pick.
Mm-hmm.
Secret of Mana would be my pick. Is that it, Joel?
Really?
No. So
really?
You finish your piece.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right. Secret of Mana probably would be my number one. It has like a special place in my heart. Okay, you're surprised? Okay, yeah. I am. So for me, Secret of Mana for me was amazing because it came off Super Nintendo, and I could be wrong, but I think it was one of the very first games on Super Nintendo that was actually 3 players.
That's correct. You are absolutely
correct. So you had to have like the special adapter, the multi-tap. It was the RPG that was not turn-based. It had the I don't know
action RPG-esque.
Action RPG-esque. Yep. You switched weapons and you threw up like your circular, weapon wheel. that was like so cool. And like you had like the 3 characters that you could switch with. They all had different weapons. Yep. And then that was probably the first game that I played, the first RPG where I was introduced to the world map. Like the full map, like you go in your airship and like you're flying across the plains. And as a kid, that was just like so amazing. Like just me and 2 of my other buddies, playing Secret of Mana. We're all playing together, playing the same game together, working through the story together. Wow. And like you see like the world map. It's like, oh my God, so cool. So yeah, that would definitely be my number one.
All right. So I got a couple questions for that. No, one is I'm a huge Secret of Mana fan. Don't get me wrong. I loved the game. The remake, I was not a big huge fan of. I don't know if you played the remake.
Yeah. I didn't like the remake.
I didn't like the remake as much. I played it. I played it and beat it because I had to, because it was just like I just need to play. But one thing I wanted to know was how was it playing with 3 players? Because I'd never played it with 3 players. I've always just mashed out the other 2 characters. Like, was it really chaotic or was it actually pretty pretty smooth?
It was very good for being a game on Super Nintendo with a sought after like a sought after accessory, with the multi-tap. The character was always camera locked on the main guy.
Yep.
So the other two, they basically just kind of, had to like follow you, be right on top of you like your shadow.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we were able to play through the whole game with 3
Wow.
people with very minor issues. So
Who was
yeah,
the sprite?
oh, that was one of the younger guys.
I was always Randy.
I don't even think I talk to him anymore. But yeah, if he watches, then he'll know who it is.
Yeah. So Joel, I think that's one of the games that I always tell you need to play, but you never played. Incorrect or correct? Or you actually did play it?
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. Got it. So, but yeah, I very respectfully condone that decision. I think that's a very good choice overall. I'm very surprised that it's not there, but I'm very surprised the holy grail of other SquareSoft games, which I'm pretty sure Joel's going to mention is number one, wasn't on your number one list. But Joel, please tell me what your number one, from your top 5 is.
Yeah, when I knew what my top 2 were. It was going to be Kingdom Hearts 2 and Chrono Trigger. And at first I had them flip flop because I was like, I played Kingdom Hearts 2 when it came out. I loved it. It was one of my favorite games. I played Chrono Trigger way later. But then I thought, why is that a bad thing? I played it and I loved it. So to be fair, I played it on one of those PlayStation kind of like anthologies. I never finished it though. I borrowed it, and then I didn't finish it. And Renell knows this until I actually started college. My freshman year of college, I got a gaming laptop because I'm an idiot, and I thought I could use that in school when the battery lasted for half an hour. But the good point is that I finally got to play emulators.
Yeah.
And the first emulator I booted up was Chrono Trigger, and I played it and I loved it. At what was that? Maybe 13 years after it came out or whatever.
Yep.
And I loved it. It was great. I didn't even have a controller. I played on the keyboard. I played arrows and ASZX as my
control and
controls. And I played it all the way through on a laptop with a keyboard because I loved it so much. It was so good. And I at that point I played 7, 8, 9, 10. Chrono Cross. I played a lot of RPGs, and I was like, oh, what's the hype on this game? I never played it. Let's play it. And that's the hype. It's great. It's an all-time. The OC is an all-time.
OC is all-time.
Gameplay is an all-time. The characters are on all-time. I thought making this list, I'd be like, well, I didn't really play it when it came out, so I don't think it had that same impact. But I think I was trying to be contrarian. It's better than all the other 4 games I have on my list, and I think it's obviously most people put that and FF6 as the turning point in JRPGs, right, where they became ready to be mainstream, and then FF7 made it mainstream.
Yep.
And I see why. That's my number one. I don't think it's a huge surprise, but I was waffling a few times. Kingdom Hearts 2, because I have such fond memories, and I played that when it came out. Yeah. And Chrono Trigger, but Chrono Trigger is my number one.
So Alex, did you play Chrono Trigger? Is the first question.
So that's why it's not my number one, because I never finished it. I really didn't.
That's fair. Yeah. If you didn't,
that's why it can't be my number one. Yeah. Wow. I know it is the cult classic that you could even put it like on the level of like Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah.
But I regretfully have not finished it.
Final Fantasy 6. Sorry, continue. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, yeah, that was it. Yeah, regretfully I have not finished it. So Joel, I know it's I will see his number one. A good buddy of mine, he will die by the sword by saying that Chrono Trigger is literally the best video game that has ever been created by mankind. Yeah,
not out of the realm.
Not out of the realm. Yeah. No, not out of the realm at all. I think that it's way high up there on anybody's list. I mean, anybody that's played it really, and the fact that Joel brings up a point, which is he played it 13 years later after the game came out, and it's still relevant. This game has been redone numerous times. I mean, not redone, but you know what I mean. Like it's been re-released over and over and over again, and it still holds up. It's like, to me, it's like Super Metroid or what's another Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. Those are games that you will
Final
Fantasy 7 will you play the game and it still
Timeless.
holds up to the test of time, you know, and
Yeah.
that's, I mean, literally the test of time. So
Mhm.
I totally agree with that choice overall.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people that listen to this or watch it will definitely agree. But if you disagree, I would love to see why you would disagree that Chrono Trigger is not one of the best Squaresoft games that are non-Final Fantasy related. So
the two real quick before we peace out.
Yeah.
The two games that I thought you would have on your list for sure, Alex. Well, one I thought like 99%, and one was kind of iffy. I thought you'd have DQ11. I know that's a really popular game.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
But number one, I thought for sure you'd have Nier Automata.
So I haven't played either one of those games.
That's fine. Nier. So I've tried twice now to get into Nier.
Mhm.
I've heard it's amazing. I've listened to the OST and it's really great.
Yeah.
Like the first hour is the first like 45-minute grabs you, and then right after that it's like too open worldy, and I don't have the patience at my age and time restrictions to do
Right.
that unguided. Like they don't even show you how to do like component upgrades because you're a robot, right? So you can do component upgrades.
Yeah.
You have to figure it out on your own. And I'm like, I don't want to figure it out on my own anymore. Like, at least give me a guideline. At least tell me, like, give me like a 1 minute walkthrough.
Yeah.
I know it's great. I know some people consider it like the best PS4 game. People legit think of it as the best PS4 game.
Yeah.
So I'll maybe revisit it.
My nephew,
that.
my nephew's a huge Nier Automata fan, or Nier fan, and I played it just like Joel. I played it for the first 30 minutes, and I'm like, okay, this looks pretty cool. And after that, I'm just like,
see, because the first 30 minutes is very guided. You're already in the mission, and you know where to go. The next world you go to, mission you do. You have kind of a loose, guide, but then you go to the camp and there's a store. And I'm like, oh, should I buy these components? I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess I'll upgrade. And then like after that, it opens up the typical open world. Here's 40 side quests. Have at it.
Yeah.
The reason why I never finished 15 is the same kind of thing. It's too open.
Yeah.
I have both of them on Steam. So, like you said, a time constraint, right? Got to prioritize. What am I going to play? Tonight.
Nope, totally. I would highly suggest for you, Alex. I would highly suggest DQ11. I loved that game. It's so reminiscent of the old traditional JRPGs, and then that's it's me, right?
Okay.
I'm an old school guy, but it's so good. Like it's so traditional. It's so funny because it's like you play this game and it's like, man, you would never think that this would work in this day and age, but it does. I don't know. But then again, I'm not like 14 or 15 anymore. Like I'm 30 something, and it's still a great game. But
if one is interesting, thinking about Joel's list, thinking about my list, they're all older games, PS1 games, PS2 games. I don't think either one of us had a PS3 or PS4 game on our list.
Because you realize that Squaresoft was an amazing company until they went to Square Enix. Then it just went like this.
I wouldn't say that. It went like that, like slow decline.
Well, they change, right? Like when I was saying, Xenogears is very dark.
Yeah.
Parasite Eve, very dark.
Yeah.
A game like that nowadays, if you were to make that now, and if you were to sell that for $60, you probably aren't going to get that many copies sold, right? So. They kind of had to adapt with the times, change the business model. Instead of trying to make a game that's just going to be like super iconic, super edgy, dark or whatever it may be, have a unique combat system. What's going to make money, right? So we need to focus on like what's going to make money, like Avengers, for example.
Sure.
It's funny you said that. The newest game on my list was I Am Setsuna, which is purposefully a throwback to older JRPGs.
Telling you, dude.
That's funny.
You guys, I'm telling you guys know we're old. That's all there is to it.
So 20 years from now, when you have this YouTube channel, and then you're going to be interviewing some young bucks. So what are your top 5? Oh man, Fortnite, Apex Legends, man.
Dude, my number one, Minecraft, dog.
Yeah, Minecraft, man. Steve is my homie, man. Okay.
That's my son gonna be, man. I swear. What did you guys think about this video? What did you guys think about the podcast? Let us know in the comments below on this YouTube video, or leave us a review on any of your podcasting format media. Again, thank you guys very much for listening and watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you guys disagree on our list, or if you agree, whatever works for you. Again, thank you very much, Alex, for joining us in this podcast.
Do it again, man.
Please come back.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
And make sure to watch him on Twitch at A Colbert HD. And again, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at What's Your _5, or reach out to us at topics@whatsyour5.com. Join us next week as we're going to actually revisit a topic that we've had in the past, which is top 5 video games of all time, according to Joel and Megan. So be tuned in for that. My name is Rodell.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Joel. Thank you very much, Alex. I hope you guys talk to you guys soon. Take it easy, guys.